20 Cruel and Curious Facts About the Life of Andrew Carnegie, the richest man in the world. Andrew Carnegie was one of the most influential figures in the steel industry. He played a pivotal role in helping the United States surpass the United Kingdom in steel production through the innovative processes he developed. Born in Scotland, Carnegie's childhood was marked by hardships caused by the arrival of the Industrial Revolution, which left his father unemployed. Seeking better opportunities, the family immigrated to the United States. Through immense effort and important connections, Carnegie amassed a fortune through agreements that were not always honest. He also took advantage of the labor force, including supporting one of his partners to undermine labor unions. Despite publicly appearing to support them, after selling his company, Carnegie engaged in philanthropic work. Therefore, we are dealing with a complex figure, and today we bring you his story in detail. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and activate notifications to stay up to date with our updates. Number 1. The Cruel Andrew Carnegie. Author Leigh Standiford has described Andrew Carnegie as a brutal and Machiavellian employer capable of exploiting his workforce. While he had a paternalistic perspective as an employer, he detested the organization of the labor force. Some argue that he was unable to see the abyss that existed between who he truly was and his self-perception. These harsh criticisms are further exacerbated by the fact that he dared to write about workers' rights and what was just and fair for them, only to violate those rights himself. Number 2. Turning his back on the man who helped him succeed. Andrew Carnegie received significant support and investment from someone who believed in him. This individual even loaned him money to pursue his ventures. However, in 1874, Carnegie rejected giving this person, named Scott, a loan guarantee that he needed for his own business in Texas. Number 3. An association that led to scandals. Carnegie partnered with Henry Frick, and according to sources such as Farrold magazine, it was Frick who was at the center of scandals that tarnished Carnegie's reputation. The Carnegie-Frick duo violated workers' rights and ultimately defeated the workers' unions in their companies. Number 4. Birth and early life in Scotland. Andrew Carnegie was born on November 25, 1835, in Dunfermline, Scotland. He was the eldest son of William Carnegie and Margaret Morrison Carnegie, who came from families with a history of political radicalism and free thinking. Andrew was nicknamed Andrew in the town of Dunfermline, which had long been the medieval capital of Scotland. Number 5. A poor family. The Carnegie family lived in a typical weaver's cottage with a single main room that they shared with the neighboring weaver's family. The main room served as a living room, dining room, and bedroom. It was modest circumstances in which young Andrew was born. Nevertheless, these circumstances held promise for the child. In 1836, the family moved to a larger house on Edgar Street. Number 6. Education in Dunfermline. At the age of 8, Andrew began attending school, which was the formal starting age for education in Scotland. He would go to Rowland Lane School every morning, a school endowed by philanthropist Adam Rowland. Number 7. Influence of a maternal uncle. Andrew was influenced by his maternal uncle, George Lauder Sr., a leader in Scottish politics who had an impact on the young Andrew. He introduced him to the writings of Robert Burns and historical heroes of Scotland, such as William Wallace and Robert the Bruce. The young Carnegie became an avid reader, memorizing significant portions of poetry and works by Shakespeare. At the age of 10, Andrew started working by running errands and keeping accounts for his mother and uncle. Number 8. Economic recession and struggles. A severe economic recession caused further hardships for the family. Andrew's father was a handloom weaver, a trade that had long thrived in Dunfermline. However, it was one of the first targets of the Industrial Revolution when power looms were introduced. Finding employment for Andrew's father became nearly impossible. The arrival of mechanical looms in the town, coupled with the general economic recession, impoverished William Carnegie. The entire region of Scotland was facing a difficult situation, and its residents were experiencing hunger. In a tone of despair, Andrew's father told him in 1847, "Andrew, I can't find any work." His mother had to intervene and find work to support the family. She assisted her brother and also sold preserved meats in her candy shop. However, the financial situation remained tough. Number 9, Emigration to the United States. In 1848, the parents decided to give their 2 children a better chance at life, and the United States offered opportunities as a land of promise. The family needed money for the long journey, so they approached George Lauder Sr., who granted them a loan of £20. They also auctioned off everything they had. The family arrived in the north side of Pittsburgh and later settled in the city of Pennsylvania in September 1848. There, they joined a Scottish colony of relatives and friends. Number 10, Opportunities in the United States. Life wasn't easy for the family initially. Andrew had to find employment and started working as a bobbin boy at Anchor Cotton, a cotton factory. His responsibilities included carrying and retrieving bobbins for the seamstresses, as well as repairing machinery. He worked 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, and earned a salary of $1.20 per week, which, adjusted for inflation in 2022, would be equivalent to $41 today. His father also worked at the cotton factory but later resigned. Number 11, Discovering Unlimited Possibilities. Thanks to his first job, Andrew Carnegie discovered that there were unlimited possibilities when it came to earning money. Despite his meager salary, Andrew felt good about earning some money and realizing that he could add value to the world. This early work experience helped him understand that there were no limits to earning money, which ultimately shaped his mindset. Guided by a sense of direction and purpose, he began to excel in his work at the factory. Number 12, Education in the United States. Andrew did not have an extensive formal education, but when he arrived in the United States, he eagerly embraced Americanization. He educated himself by reading and writing and attended night school in Allegheny, Pennsylvania. He had the opportunity to access a library that the factory owner made available to the employees. Despite the poverty surrounding his family, they always emphasized the importance of education. Additionally, Andrew's admiration for his well-educated uncle served as another motivation for his self-education. His self-education continued in the following years, even when he was in New York and London. Number 13, Working as a Messenger at 14. At the age of 14, Andrew worked as a messenger, and his remarkable skills ensured his advancement. In 1850, a telegraph office hired him as a messenger, doubling his weekly earnings compared to what he made at the cotton factory. He earned $2.50 per week. He knew this was an important step forward and that he needed to pay attention to everything happening in the company to do his job well. Reflecting on this period of his life, he stated, "There was never a minute when I could not learn something. I felt my foot on the ladder and I was determined to climb." Andrew developed a special skill with telegraph machines. While it was common for messengers to use paper to decipher the telegraph messages they transmitted, Andrew deciphered them through hearing. This made his work easier and faster. It is said that he was one of the few people on the planet who could decode messages by ear. Thanks to this exceptional ability, he was promoted to a full-time operator in 1851, with a weekly salary of $4. He believed that when a person is promoted, they must do something exceptional beyond their regular responsibilities to attract attention. Number 14, Displaying Intelligence and Decision-Making. Just a few months into his new role, the 18-year-old Andrew found himself in a fortuitous and risky situation. Part of the Western Division had become congested due to an accident. Scott was absent that morning, and Carnegie, ignoring standing orders, took the initiative to send instructions to divert several trains using his immediate supervisor's name. This quick action rapidly resolved the system congestion. When Scott found out, he boasted to J. Edgar Thompson, the company's president, declaring that Andrew was his little Scotch devil with white hair. Number 15, shared background with his superiors. Carnegie had several points of connection with his bosses, particularly with Thompson. They shared aspirations and the fact that all three had absent or weak fathers. Consequently, work became a substitute for family for them. It is even said that Thompson, who was born in 1808, became a father figure to Scott, and in turn, Scott became a father figure to Carnegie. They were also united by their speculative nature. These coincidences allowed conflicts of interest to go unnoticed. Once Pennsylvania became the largest industrial company in the United States, these shared traits played a significant role. Number 16, a major promotion. By 1859, Andrew had assumed Thomas Scott's position as the superintendent of the Pittsburgh division of the Pennsylvania Railroad. Scott, in turn, became the Assistant Secretary of War in charge of military transportation. This appointment took place within the context of the American Civil War or the War of Secession, which occurred between 1861 and 1865. Number 17, telegraph service for the Union. Through the telegraph system, Andrew provided excellent service in support of the Union. The railway lines leading to Washington, D.C., were cut off by the rebels, and Andrew played a crucial role in reopening them. His oversight ensured that the telegraph service efficiently served the Union cause, contributing to the Union's triumph over the South. This conflict also demonstrated that the railway industry was indispensable for the Union's victory. To defeat the Confederacy, the Union required substantial ammunition supplies and railways, including telegraph lines, to facilitate the delivery of goods. Andrew's influence helped transform Pittsburgh into a center of industrial production during the war. Number 18, initial capital, and insider trading. Andrew's initial capital came from investing with insider trading. While serving as superintendent, Scott had given Andrew advice and even provided him with the opportunity to invest money in deals involving insider information that would benefit the investors. Although dishonest, this practice was quite common during that time. It wasn't until 1934 that insider trading became particularly illegal. With this capital, Andrew was able to start making investments that would later lay the foundation for his own company. Number 19, early major investments. Scott motivated Carnegie to invest and even lent him $500 of the time to invest in the Adams Express Package Delivery Company. Scott also facilitated this investment. More investments followed, such as those in the sleeping company. Carnegie successfully introduced the first sleeper car for first-class travel on U.S. railroads, an invention by Mr. Woodruff, with whom Carnegie had formed a partnership. Andrew's investments earned him annual profits of $5,000 by 1863, which would be equivalent to $100,000 today. He also astutely invested in industrial companies like Pittsburgh Locomotive and Superior Oil. His investments went even further when he put $40,000 into an oil field in Pennsylvania, which turned out to be a lucrative venture. He was one of the early investors in the Columbia Oil Company, located in Venango County, Pennsylvania. Carnegie also made several trips to Europe to sell railway stocks. Thanks to these investments, he was making an annual income of $50,000. With one investment after another, and always guided and supervised by Thomas Scott, Andrew was amassing a fortune that led him to make the decision to move away from the railroad industry and pursue the next big trend. Number 20, post-war successes. When the war ended, Andrew left his job at the railroads. However, he maintained his connections with Scott and Thompson, which he would later use to secure contracts for the Keystone Bridge Company. Andrew even made Scott and Thompson shareholders in his businesses. Upon leaving the railroads, he shifted his focus and efforts to the iron trade and developed various ironworks in Pittsburgh, establishing the Keystone Bridge Works and Union Iron Works. Andrew Carnegie's life was cut short by bronchial pneumonia, and he passed away on August 11, 1919, at his property in Shadowbrook, Lenox, Massachusetts. He was buried in Sleepy Hollow Cemetery in Sleepy Hollow, New York. Today, his name continues to resonate among other prominent figures in the steel industry, and his life is part of a misunderstood history. We hope this video has been helpful to you. If you have anything to add, please share it with us in the comments section. Don't forget to like this video and share the link with your family and friends so that they too can learn more about these 20 intriguing, dark, and curious aspects of Andrew Carnegie's life, the richest man in the world. Thanks for watching. If you found this video interesting, make sure to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We'll be back soon with more curiosities from history.